You are not a sensei. You're a con man.
Hiya!
Welcome to Cobra Kai Corner. On today's episode, who are we talking about?
Ralphmacchio.
Whoop whoop, the Big Daddy.
We knew we had to get around to him sooner or later. Actually, I was just telling Shelley, as fast as the first season moves and as quickly as they add in characters, we're running way behind. Because
Indeed.
we still got a ton of them to do yet. So we couldn't get any further along without doing Big Daddy, Daniel-san LaRusso.
Yes. So, I can start with, like, some facts and stuff, and then you can do your commentary. Is that how you want to do it?
That's how we always do.
All right. Okay, well, Ralphmacchio, a.k.a. Daniel LaRusso, he was born November 4th, 1961, in Huntington, Long Island, New York. His father is half Greek and half Italian, and his mother is Italian. He attended and graduated from Half Hollows Hills West High School in 1979. And as far as his films and TV, there's so many more than what I'm going to tell you. There's just too many.
That's what she told me when she was digging up the facts, and I gotta be honest, I figured there was probably a bunch or whatever.
There's a lot.
But I really thought it was The Outsiders, The Karate Kids, and Cobra Kai I thought was the basis of this dude's career.
No, he's done a lot of things in between, but I'm just going to read, like, tell you guys the main stuff, okay?
All right, well, let's have it.
All right, so he started out in various TV commercials in the late 1970s before appearing in the comedy movie Up the Academy in 1980, and then a regular role in 1980 on the TV series 8 is Enough.
Oh, 8 is Enough. I did not.
Yeah.
I watched that growing up. I don't remember Daniel-san.
Yeah, I never watched 8 is Enough. Let's see, he was in 8 is Enough, followed by playing teenager Johnny Cade in The Outsiders in 1983.
I do remember that.
Yeah,
That was a good movie, and
great book.
Well, I was going to say, we'll pretend I read. It was a great book, too.
It was a great book. Read it before you watch the movie. Well, everybody's seen The Outsiders if you've gone to school. Anyway, let's see. Then in 1984, he scored the lead role in The Karate Kid, The Karate Kid 2, The Karate Kid 3. After those, he did Crossroads, My Cousin Vinny.
I forgot about My Cousin Vinny. I love that shit.
That is who his daughter in the Cobra Kai show was modeled after Marissa Tomei's character. That's okay. So anyway, it was in My Cousin Vinny, A Good Night to Die, and of course Cobra Kai, as well as many, many other projects in between.
And I can't believe I forgot about My Cousin
Yeah,
Vinny.
how can you?
Who could forget about the two Utes?
The two youths over there. He is married to Phyllis Macchio, and they got married way back in 1987, and they are still together to this day, and they have 2 children, one of which is Julia Macchio, who, by the way, plays Vanessa in Cobra Kai. All this is going to melt your heart.
Oh, this is what you were writing down earlier that said was making you sad?
Yes.
Well, let's see if it hits me.
At Pat Morita's funeral procession, he gave a brief eulogy, and he ended it by saying, "Forever my sensei." Oh, come on now.
That doesn't make me sad. I mean, good. That's nice respect.
It's touching, right? He once, in real life, saved a baby porpoise that was beached on the shores of Malibu, California. But when reporters tried to cover the story, he asked to remain anonymous.
Good dude.
He was awarded a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on November 20th, 2024. Fellow actors Tamerlan Tomita and William Zabka were guest speakers at the ceremony. That just shows they're good friends in real life, you know? He ranked number 80 on VH1's 100 Greatest Teen Stars. He is a huge fan of hockey team New York Islanders. he is a huge fan of Bruce Springsteen.
Gross. Why, Danielson? Why?
Oh, Danielson. No. He auditioned for a role in E.T., but didn't get it. And here's a quote from him, if you would like to know. He says, quote, "The truth is, you have a much richer life if you somehow lead one that you can hold together." End quote.
That's true, I suppose.
Oh, I do have another quote.
Okay.
This is what he says about being known for being Daniel LaRusso. Like everybody knows him as, the Karate Kid. He says, quote, "It becomes your alter ego. People think that's actually my name. They think I grew up in Newark. They think I actually know martial arts. I keep fooling them into believing it's true." End quote. And then what he says about Cobra Kai, quote, "It's been a long journey. What I get from the young actors, I never expected that. That's a big part of why we tried every day. I started working in 1979 as an actor, and I have learned so much making this show." End quote. And that's what I have for Danielson.
I'm not even sure where to start, so I guess we'll start with the beginning of Cobra Kai, because that's how you gotta do character development.
Yeah.
Man, when Cobra Kai first started, I thought they were really making Daniel LaRusso kind of look like a prick.
I did too.
I feel like...
I really did. I was like, I don't know.
I feel like they really emphasized that so that you would gain the sympathy and empathy for Johnny that you can and identify with him.
Yep.
Because, it's like he just wasn't that nice of a guy.
I thought, because I had never seen the Karate Kids before, Cobra Kai, and I thought, wow, I had always heard he was this nice kid, and he really turned into your dad's kind of a dick, that kind of thing.
And,
at first, that's what I thought.
Yeah, and, he does some questionable things throughout the series that you're like, dude, back the fuck up.
Right, like, slow up.
I mean, especially, you see a lot of it, well, let me move on through the movie first.
Okay, I'll hush.
So, no, you jump in whenever you got something.
I don't mean to interrupt you.
So, we go through the movie, and you can see a lot of what I'm talking about, and all throughout this thing, right when Johnny's getting ready to prepare with Danielson on the sparring deck to decide what's what, he has these little flashbacks as he's doing his little Rocky training or whatever. And a lot of it's, some of the negative things we're going to talk about, because naturally he's pissed off at Daniel, so that's what he's reflecting on.
Right.
It's like, when he showed up to the dealership and Daniel's like, oh, actually, I kicked his face. He's kind of was a pompous, arrogant ass.
That reminded me of like how Kyler was, oh, I called him Rhea for years. Like that type of vibe.
Exactly.
Like, douchebag. You don't need to drudge that up.
Yeah. Actually,
to be cool in front of his friends.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, LaRusso was kind of a stuck-up, arrogant, rich prick.
Nope.
I don't think he remembered being from Jersey and Reseda and what have you in the beginning.
He forgot where he had came from.
I understand that the creators were trying to lay down some foundations, so I get it.
Yeah, they wanted you to feel sympathy for what Johnny has dealt with and how different his life was to Daniel's.
So then you've got Daniel LaRusso, the father of Samantha LaRusso. And their relationship ticks back and forth a few different times in this thing. Especially when Samantha wants to learn Eagle Fang and wants to learn both styles. And Daniel's not real fond of that.
No, he's not having it.
And then also, again, with Anthony, he enabled this little fat bastard for all these years, and now suddenly he just expects him to snap to and act a whole different way. Well, guess what, Daniel? You created that monster yourself. Just like, by the way, here's a little side commentary. Just like all of you parents who enable your children do. And then you want to bitch about, I can't control this kid. Well, you had a chance to.
Is this subliminal for me?
It is not. It is not. I see so much. I could point out. And by the way, check out our ranting ring, because I got plenty more to say about this crap.
Oh, yeah, and Polly might be coming tomorrow to rant with us.
Yeah,
so.
it's on the main channel, Legends, Lore, Hauntings, and more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be guest starring in on the ranting ring, and I'll talk some more about this crap.
You love his
But
rant.
at least once a day, if I leave this house and go out in the public, at least once a day, I can find an example where I want to tell a parent, stop this shit.
Yeah.
You're enabling this child's asinine behavior, and enabling is disabling, because then they don't know how to take it when somebody else doesn't put up with it or says something about it. Well, you're horrible. No, you know what? You're a little asshole kid, because that's what your parents do.
Okay, let's save this for the ranting ring and get back to
Anyway, yes, I better digress.
I
better digress. So, you have Daniel, the old rival, who's kind of in the modern day an arrogant douchey bag. You've got Daniel. You've got Daniel the parent, which makes some questionable choices along the way. But to be fair, we all do as parents, I suppose.
We don't have a handbook, man.
And then you've got Daniel as a sensei. As a sensei, this is where they start to show the old Daniel son, the understanding side, the compassionate side, the more parental side. So they kind of bring you back to Daniel's son's roots once he comes a sensei again, and he starts mentoring Robbie, which, by the way, my favorite character, so we're going to be getting to him pretty darn soon.
He'll have his own episode.
Absolutely, he will. So you got him as a sensei, you start to respect him again, and then he starts getting childish again when him and Johnny are competing. Not only the second time, the first time, when they're getting ready for the All Valley. They can't, in fact, they even end up dividing again and becoming two separate teams. Probably what cost them. But, again, in the end, when they start deciding on the training for the Seikai Teikai, Daniel just refuses, even though he says he goes and he asks for Johnny's help at the end of the second All Valley when Samantha has her fight with Tori. He tells him he's sorry. He didn't realize that some of Johnny's teachings could be good much sooner. So he's come to the point where he does realize that sometimes some offense is good, and Johnny's teachings were good. But then he comes back again in the last season, and it's more of the same as before that, of him really downplaying Johnny as a sensei, and the two of them getting into it about the two different styles. And Johnny says this at some point in the movie, and I thought it was a really valid point, and that's why I think that's
show.
I think that's why. Don't ever correct me.
We just did a movie review, so
I think it's right before they have their match on the sparring deck. Johnny says, "You know what your problem is? You beat me in one fight 30 years ago with a lucky shot, and because of that, you think you're the better fighter than I am."
And he was right about that.
Absolutely, he was right about that. And So, yeah. I think they both characters have the problem of needing to get over this 1984 shit.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's like,
Johnny.
y'all were kids.
Johnny, you let it ruin your
alone.
life and spiraled
Right.
way down the hill. And Daniel,
It's like 20 years
you've been
ago.
trying to ride the same high wave for that long. I mean, in your dealership, chopping down. Dude, the last time before that commercial you chopped down anything was like 35 damn years ago. You ain't chopping shit anymore. So I don't know why you were so
pimp hand ain't
arrogant.
what it used to be.
Thankfully, you got a man that's level you out.
Yeah, I
on
like
the show.
her. Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess in the end, Daniel's son proves to be a really nice guy. He gets Johnny his dojo back, gets his rent reduced, and, essentially steps aside and says, he does all the right things and lets Johnny finally get his victory at the All Valley. So he rounds himself out to be loved again by the end of the series. But like I said, kind of went on a rocky road getting there.
I'm kind of like how I felt about Samantha at first. And then I liked her as, the show progressed. But at first I thought she was a spoiled, entitled bitch. That's what I thought she was. And then I got to know her character, and I'm like, oh, okay, she's got a heart. But that's how I felt about Daniel. I was like, I heard this kid was supposed to be so sweet, and Johnny was the bad guy, and this guy grew up to be a real douchebag,
Yeah.
But then I really liked him as the show progressed.
And, with Samantha, one thing I've noticed, as obviously I'm watching it again because I'm out of shows.
It's good for trivia and stuff, too.
She's not portrayed as, per se, necessarily a badass.
Mm-mm.
But Samantha LaRusso is kind of a badass.
She
Here's
really
something I
is.
want you to know. And maybe this comes from the fact that, much like Hawk, I'm not a big Tori fan. Don't really care for her character at all.
I love her.
The only time Tori ever beat Sam throughout 6 entire seasons is when the ref was paid off. Other than that, Samantha LaRusso has beaten her every single
She is a badass.
time. And I love what she tells her when they let Tori back in school and she tries to thank her. She's like, stay away from my family. If you so much as step out of line one time, I'll kick your ass for a third time. I was like, hell yeah. Deliver that shit. Deliver that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But this show ain't about Samantha. We already did hers.
Yeah.
I was just remiss that I
She's
didn't
a
mention
real
that.
black belt, y'all.
And I just think that she don't get enough credit for being the badass that she is.
Yeah, I agree. She is
Anyway,
badass.
that's what I got to say about Danielson's character development in the series. As far as Ralphmacchio goes, I think he's probably a pretty good dude.
I think he's a stand-up
across
man.
the board. He's been married to his wife, and we've talked about this before. You can't compare us common folks' timelines with celebrity timelines. To be married,
Marriages, you mean?
to be married as long as he has been to his wife
In Hollywood.
as a celebrity is impressive.
Very.
I also think that Ralphmacchio must be a nice guy to work with because
That's what everybody says about
I
him.
feel like that's the reason why they were able to get literally every last soul that ever starred in anything with him to come back.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't find a way of bringing everyone back from the frickin' Outsiders. Actually, I know why, because
I have a fun fact.
I only recently learned, we'll get to your fun fact.
Okay.
I only recently learned that Cobra Kai was on a kind of a tight budget.
I know.
They
That's
wanted
amazing.
some stars that they couldn't get. At one point, they actually considered bringing back Hilary Swank. Ugh, thank God they didn't have money for that. She can keep her ugly ass. She's getting ready to pop up over on my other show, Yellow Jackets. We don't need her.
We don't need Matt Damon.
But they wanted to bring back like a
Uh-huh.
lot of people for the last episode and put them in the bar with like the pawn shop guy and the convenience store guy, and they couldn't afford it.
Which to me is like, what? Because you would think that is such a successful show.
Yeah, you were
You know
telling
what I mean?
me.
Like, what?
You were telling me, I'm not sure why this didn't come out in your facts, that Ralphmacchio himself only made $100,000 per episode.
Oh, yeah. I forgot
Now,
to put that in.
Let's put that, and wrap it up quick because we're running short on where we want to end this thing.
Yeah.
Let me put this in relationship for you. Charlie Sheen was making $2 million per episode of a crappy show.
Suck. Way back
Ralph
then.
Macchio, if my math is right, made like $6 million off this entire series. Charlie
Crazy.
Sheen made that in 3 episodes.
Yeah,
Unbelievable, right?
That's insane.
Anyway, wrapping up what I was saying about Ralph Macchio being a nice guy. I think he was a nice guy because he got everybody to agree to come back and work on the show, and I don't think they would have if he was a prick to work with. Shelley said she had a fun fact, so let's get that.
This is something for everybody to look forward to, okay? He is trying to get everybody together to do a second My Cousin Vinny.
Oh my Lord! That
Yep,
would
so
be
look
awesome.
forward to that. I hope that happens because that would be great. He wants to get all the original actors and everybody that's still alive to, So look forward to that. I just read that doing research.
That would
So
be
yeah,
cool.
that'd be cool.
That was a good fun fact.
But that's all I got for you guys today.
That's all we've got for Ralph Macchio now. Hey, you know what? If we decide there's a whole bunch of crap that we missed that we should have done, we'll do a part 2 later on.
Yeah, for sure.
But
for sure.
that's all I've got for right now. This is Sensei Daniel saying, Hiya!
And Grasshopper Shelley saying thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank you to all of our new subscribers. Please don't forget, like, subscribe, share, hit that bell. Hit the bell. You will get all of our content. And until next time, stay creepy. Hiya!
And don't forget to check out our ranting ring coming out tomorrow. Hopefully
Yep.
Polly's going to be back for it.
Yeah, I hope Polly joins us, so stay tuned for that.